everywhere. Bad. Really bad. And I look at Javi and I said, you look at the video camera and call Casey and tell her to get me a steam cleaner. And I was so fortunate that it was 2021 because Wally's had gave me all these cleaners, this stuff that would like paint thinner, like the most germ killing. So I double mask. We were still wearing masks at that point. I put a bunch of gloves. I got everything I could think of.
Power washer.
This is such a disgusting story. But anyway, I just kept saying to myself, chocolate ice cream, because I was trying so hard not to vomit into my mask.
Welcome to the Spencer Covey Show. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to the show.
If you are interested in any of our innovation and creativity workshops or materials, please head over to spencercovey.com or patreon.com/spencercovey.
And now please enjoy this episode with David Lokker, President of Landsharks in Saugatuck, Michigan.
On today's episode of the Spencer Covey Show, we have David Lokker.
Ooh, applause. The crowd goes crazy. Down.
Of Landsharks. The original.
The OG.
The OG Landsharks.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Saugatuck, Michigan. Thanks for being here. Cheers.
Yeah, drinking a little Saugatuck, some local brew.
This is really cool to be in here and see all the brands. Yeah. Sorrel, Bot, can we say them?
Sorrel. We got Sorrel. You can, Sorrel, Sorrel, Boggs, Smartwool, Hoka, On Running, Keen, all the good ones.
Kavu.
You know which one's great? Can I actually stand up and mess this up and show you?
Totally.
A dog and pony show right out of the gate.
Show.
I'll show you what's the latest and greatest.
Yeah. Let's see what's happening. Oh, there it is.
What was supposed to be an interview is already a sales pitch.
Hey, that's all right.
Yeah, so we stumbled upon this brand, small Canadian company called Next Grip, waterproof and warm.
Ooh,
but
it's wool.
It's icy, Spencer. Oh, we don't want to slip and fall.
Whoa!
Look at that. Cleat for the ice, and then Arctic Grip. These blue flakes are magic.
Oh.
On ice, they had us walk in an ice rink. It completely sticks. Like, not to the point where
like
you can't
sandpaper.
walk, but yeah, it's like sandpaper. But you pair that with this little cleat.
Do they make those for guys as well?
We have guys as well, but
right there.
Right there.
Well,
but all right, we'll show one where I didn't want to get too pitchy, but I couldn't help myself because I'm really excited about the next script. No. And it's like when we order these and I have a question, I call Next Script and a man named Elaine Knapp answers the phone, and he actually owns the company. It's that small.
His first name's Elaine. That is Canadian.
That's very Canadian, yeah. Elaine or Greg with 2 G's. They throw an extra G in there in Canada for whatever reason.
Greg.
And Sean, S-E-A-N. Like none of this S-H-A-W-N. But
there's S-E-A-N here.
Yeah, there are some, but I feel like it's more
Wait, let me get
common in Ontario. Yeah. Oh, and the beauty is that you don't have to tie it either. Like it has laces, but you just unzip it. You can be lazy and slip into it.
Oh, yeah.
It's all about the slip into these days. Kids don't even know how to tie their shoes with Velcro and bungees and
less than $200.
Yeah,
which is a good price for a boot.
Yeah, 20 below.
Boot. Yeah,
I think we've lost all your listeners because we started out pitchy, but oh well, maybe we'll make a sale.
It's all right.
All right.
Yeah, if you want to come in and get some of these boots.
Yep,
boots.
You get a promo code Spencer Covey, 20% off for watching the podcast till the end.
Oh, I'll put this at the end.
Yeah, at the end.
Yeah,
I'll loop it. No, or the beginning. If you made it this far, I promise it's legit. 20% off. Say I saw these on the Spencer Covey Show.
All right, there you go.
All right.
What is your? Do you have a favorite brand, or is Next Grip your favorite brand?
I'm very excited about it because it's really well made. It's Canadian and it's small, but I mean, it's hard for me to say that Patagonia isn't my favorite brand because it's been our staple since day one, kind of, since my mother was a buyer here and then eventually bought the store. And it's just a great company to work with, and everybody knows it. And when you have a Patagonia banner or a mannequin in the window, people immediately walking down the street know what to expect in terms of quality. And when they open the door and they see Patagonia, they know that, this is an outdoor store. They're going to have good stuff. So, and they've always just been a good partner. They have a great environmental story, and they practice what they preach. So Patagonia would be my favorite brand, but I've got a bunch. Cool's a very cool company from Salt Lake. And actually, we probably do more business with them than Patagonia. And then a lot of good shoes, but those two are kind of Those are the two front runners. And if you go into my closet, it'll be dominated by those two brands.
Oh,
so I mean, they're miles ahead of everybody else. They always have been. We've got a poster in the basement that I bring up that is from 1993, and it says, "Isn't all cotton organic?" And it's got a list of the 25 chemicals and pesticides that they used to use in conventionally grown cotton.
Whoa.
And Patagonia, since 1993, only sourced organic cotton in all their garments. And that's something that in the last 4 or 5 years has become popular. So they're about 28 years ahead of everybody else.
Yeah.
So, and most of their fleece starting in the late 90s, almost anything that was polar fleece was made of recycled pop bottles. So they kind of led the charge there too. So they've always practiced environmental stewardship. We've got a poster up front too that just says, "This vest is trash," and it shows the process of recycling a plastic bottle into apparel. So,
wonder how many 2 liters it takes to make a large.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's on the poster.
Is it?
I've just looked at it for 30 years, so I'm blind to it now. I just looked right past it, but people still comment on those little things. But so if I pick a favorite brand, if I only had to pick one, it definitely would be Patagonia. It's the one thing we don't get rid of. So we have our 2 daughters, since they were babies, their buntings and all their winter jackets. Fortunately, we had 2 girls so that they could just pass them down, but we've kept everything. So
nice planning on your part.
yeah, so we've just got it felt too good to give to Goodwill.
Yeah. Yeah. Heirlooms.
So we're thinking, hopefully they'll have daughters or boys or whatever, but in 20 or 30 or 40 years, whenever we allow them to have children, then they can
45,
they can pass down their baby bunting that they wore, in 2013. So,
and there is a ton of snowshoes here. Are these your rentals, or are these ones for sale, or is it a combination of both? Or
yeah. So in May we got $40,000 worth of ski and snowshoe equipment to sell, to rent. We were excited. This is going to be the year.
Yeah.
Around Christmas we get the blizzard of the
Century.
generational blizzard. Things are great. We're renting equipment. By the first of the year, everything's melted, and then we got this most recent blast around Valentine's Day, and it's just been a catastrophic rental year. So we have plenty of equipment to buy. We have plenty to rent. And Wednesday and Thursday are supposed to get this crazy ice storm. It's going to be snow. I'm gonna will it. So we have plenty of equipment. We sell it, we rent it, but it's really good equipment. We rent the same stuff that my wife and I use. So sometimes rentals can be kind of sketchy, but we get the cream of the crop because we want people to have a good experience. And it's $18 a day. We don't make money on rentals. We just want people in the store.
Yeah.
And if you come to Saugatuck this time of year, like, you want an experience.
Yeah.
So we think it's beneficial to the community for somebody to have a great experience in the winter. So maybe they'll come back the following year. They'll eat at the restaurants. They'll stay for the weekend, and it gives them something to do. We just need Mother Nature to help us out with a little snow.
Yeah, the snow makes a big difference. Have you ever considered organizing a snowshoe race?
If we had consistent snow, that's actually a great idea. Just to do some fun race, like you could even do it in costumes. It wouldn't have to be real competitive.
Oh yeah.
You could even do a downtown pub crawl one, but the snowshoes would probably come back pretty beaten up in this town. So
You just have to put protective covers around them.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Both great ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, this town's fun. You're doing the Mardi Gras pub crawl tomorrow, 4:30.
Yeah. We'll
We're at
see
Wally's.
that. So am I correct that there's a band that's going to play
Yeah.
all the different? You just follow a band.
Yeah.
And it stops at all 6 places.
Yeah.
So Wally's, Sandbar, Wicks Park,
Yeah.
Southerner. And they play music at each spot.
There's a map
Like
on.
the Butler. Yeah, I saw the route. I thought this was great for
Yeah.
Fat Tuesday.
Yeah.
And Wally's is typically closed Tuesday, so
Not
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be in here working it. We want this to be your favorite store, and people will come in and say, "Oh, I've had this piece for 20 years," or "My Keen boots lasted 15 years. I took them to 10 countries." So, it first and foremost has to be.
People come in with those kind of stories.
They've got great stories, so it has to be quality. We're not going to sell. We're not going to dilute our brand, so we want to make sure it's a really well-made product.
Do people ever send you pictures of them wearing?
Yeah, we have to do a better job on Instagram. We might send out an email around Father's Day and show us your old beat up things. Sometimes people will come in with an old Landsharks trucker hat that's completely tattered, and we'll just throw them another one. We're like, it looks like you're due for a new one.
Nice.
So, but yeah, I hope that people have some sentimental value to some of the pieces that they've purchased here. But we want this store to be a good experience and be more than just transactional. So we want them to remember our staff and then remember where they bought the product, and hopefully if it's a pair of hiking shoes or even a pair of pants or whatever it is, that they have good memories and that it lasts and that it gets passed down to the next person.
What's the most ragged and tore up a piece of apparel that you've had come through here? Does there's like a standout story?
I have personally, so Judy from the book, do you know Judy?
Oh, yeah.
From the bookstore.
Yeah.
She's had some Patagonia pieces at least 30 years old, and Patagonia's got this worn wear program. They have it's a cool program. For one, even if you have an issue with the zipper, if it says Patagonia, you can send it in and they'll repair it. If they can't repair it, they'll replace it or they'll give you credit towards something new. But she's got like a foul weather gear, a sailing jacket that she probably wore in the Chicago to Mac race at some point that we've sent in a few times to have some love given to the zipper. But Patagonia actually does this worn wear program in the summer where they have an RV and they drive around and they'll set up in a location like in Chicago and they'll say, bring all your outdoor gear, and they'll have like 3 seamstresses just fixing stuff. Sometimes it's not even Patagonia. Or they'll do clinics where they'll teach you how to patch and mend your own clothes or put buttons on or replace zippers. But I have a piece from when I was junior in high school. So I have a Patagonia jacket. It's this fuzzy, old, stained, beat up.
Yeah.
It's called a cinchilla. It's big Berber. Almost, I look like a sheep in it, except for it's all stained. But I've had 2 of the zippers replaced, and you can, when you turn it inside out, you can see the extra stitches. So that was 92 that I had that. So that one's 31 years old. Wow. And I still wear it. It's beaten up enough where I just wear it if I'm working in the yard, or I actually wear it ice fishing, and I'll wear it if I'm fishing on the pier for like steelhead if it's cold out, because it's a really warm jacket. But it's got this neoprene like wetsuit. It was called PEF. It's got this wind barrier, so it's not that heavy of a jacket, but it is filthy. But I love it. Like that will never, unless it burns up in a fire, that one I'll keep forever. I like having. I definitely have favorite pieces.
Do they still make them like that, Patagonia? With
They still.
windbreaker?
So yeah, it's called the Retro X cardigan. They still make it. It looks identical to mine, with the exception of the liner is now. It looks almost like honeycomb, but it's something they've made forever, and I don't think they'll ever stop making it. But the inside of mine is different, and what I like about mine is there's a little patch in it that tells a story of this PEF, their proprietary wind block, and right on the bottom it says Patagonia Fall 1992.
Oh, neat.
So I actually have not the expiration date, but I have the made date, so I have the street cred to prove. Look, this is 31 years old and it's still kicking. So it has been sent out for repairs, but Casey and I, my wife, we've been doing this purge. We're pretending like we're moving, even though we're not moving because we have too much stuff.
Oh, nice.
But there's a couple clothing pieces from mine that haven't made it to the Goodwill pile, and that's one of them. So
You let me know which Goodwill you bring it to.
yeah,
I'll be right there behind you.
yeah. People would laugh if they saw how few clothes I have, but I think when you're immersed in it, and
Yeah.
it's your profession, or you spent so much time, it doesn't quite have the luster for me.
You've got
It all looks like
access to
work.
a lot of clothes.
I do have access to a lot, so it doesn't necessarily, shopping doesn't bring me a lot of joy. Shopping for the store, like when we go on buying trips, which I'll get back to that original question. That's exciting. It's worth it to go to these national shows, even though it can be costly to fly out to Las Vegas for 3 or 4 days, or Denver, Salt Lake, or
But
wherever it
one
be.
conversation or
One conversation always pays for the trip. We've never,
Yeah.
I mean, whether
that one.
and then and if you get the right brand, like for instance Lokker, we found their first or second year out of the gate, they were just a really small shoe company. We were able to bring them in. We have exclusivity in Saugatuck, and that from that first conversation, it's been millions of dollars for us. So
Wow, yeah.
it definitely more than paid for the trip. So
Yeah, it's just yeah. Do you how active do you have to be with scope creep? I mean, like right off the top of my head, I noticed that like there's not, like if I want to get a camping stove,
yeah,
it's one thing that's like not here.
right.
But if I wanted to get socks,
Yes.
or if I want to get a water bottle, or if I want to get like,
Yes.
how do you?
Yeah, so and I think a good example of that is Earth's Edge in Grand Haven had a storefront, maybe even smaller than us, downtown. And downtown Grand Haven's got even more foot traffic than Saugatuck, and they moved out to 31, and people thought they were insane. But then they opened this big store, but it allowed them to do more kayaks, tents, camp stoves, and they thrive. I mean, they wanted to do that, but they needed parking. They needed to make it easy. Like if I put 2 or 3 Thule roof racks in here, we'd eat up the whole
Yeah, that'd be
store.
it, yeah.
So dollars
That'd be
per
it.
square foot, it doesn't make sense for us,
Yeah.
and
And it's working.
it's working. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So year 34, it's working. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like the recipe is interesting, because it's like you've obviously got it dialed in so well.
Yeah, and I'll give you an easier example. The farmhouse doesn't sell Chinese food.
Yeah. Right.
There's
yeah.
nobody,
Right.
you can't find good Chinese in town. So I'm sure that people go, you should sell Chinese food. I can't buy Chinese food anywhere in town. And people are like, why don't you sell stand-up paddle boards? You can't buy them in town. You can rent them, but you can't buy them. I could
On and
probably
on.
sell
Yeah.
those, but that's not who I am. Like
Yeah.
the farmhouse, that's not who they are.
Yeah.
They could dabble in that, but they have their program dialed in so well. They know exactly who they
Yeah.
are, what they're going to do. And we're very choosy on what comes in here. There are a lot of sales reps that are like, I know you could sell my line. You could crush with my line. And yeah, we could, but we're not going to take something off the shelf that's working, that we've built the customer for.
Yeah.
And they love that, and they know what to expect when they come in. We always dabble. We'll bring 20% of our inventory every year is completely new brands, just to see what happens. But
So that's the number, like 20%.
Yeah.
Is
yep, and that's just a number
that's a big number.
Yeah, and that's just a number that we kind of came up with. I don't know that there's a trade journal that says you should do that, but I think to speculate with 20% is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, buying and going to these trade shows sound really exciting, but when you're sitting down writing orders, that can be really monotonous, because buying is very difficult. A lot of times, like for instance with Patagonia, we have units coming in 12 months of the year. So we might have 6 deliveries. We have stuff coming in February 1st, February 15th, March 1st, March 15th, all the way through the year. And then we have some things that come in February 15th. We're like, okay, we're going to sell 18 of those in February. Let's bring them back in April. Let's bring in a new color in May. So it's there's a lot of science and a lot of math to it, and a lot of art to it. So you have to choose the right color stories from each brand so that the floor looks cohesive, but then you have to do the math to know how much you're going to sell, how much you want to spend, budget for each brand, and then you have to break that budget out each month. So
Where'd you learn how to do that? On the job, or is that a thing
You know
that
what?
you kind of
So it's funny. Sally, my mother, who started
Yeah.
the store and eventually
What up, Sally?
sold it. What up, Sally? Who sold, what people don't realize is we write our orders 10 months in advance. So right now we've already written
It's
next
full
winter's.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll start writing
And they must need that for manufacturing and shipping and all
manufacturing,
everything,
shipping,
right?
sourcing. So since things are made overseas, they might need to get cotton from India. They might need to get rubber from
Yeah.
China. The factory might be in the Philippines, and then it needs to get produced, put on a container, shipped to California, then shipped from there to us. So there's so many moving
Yeah.
parts, but picking out things that you love that you think are going to sell is so much fun. But then when you get to the point to actually writing the order and figuring how many smalls are you going to sell, how many mediums, how many extra large.
Yeah, how do you know
How many
that?
times you look at data and you take a wild guess and you're always wrong. So otherwise,
But smalls are the
whenever
big-
you go in a store and then you see the sales section, those are the mistakes the buyers made. So
But you
the
don't
smaller
have
the
that big of a
sales
sales
yeah,
section.
the smaller the sales section, the more stuff, the more often you have sales. That says a lot about it is your talent as a buyer. So,
What, I mean, unless this is like a best kept secret or something, what do you think that you know about the Saugatuck population, tourism, or what have you gained over?
so that's the biggest benefit to us. I think it would be really difficult. That's why we haven't gone. Well, there's several reasons we haven't expanded beyond the one store. Like we're not interested in the endless pursuit of more. Like
Yeah,
the store is
because
good.
it is endless.
Yeah, we would.
You can always have more.
People are like, open another store. You're doing so well, but our quality of life is really good. But this store is good. We'd love this store to be great and excellent, and still keep still keep growing the store. But I'm trying to
The
circle back.
like customer intel.
Yes.
Yeah, I was
So
kind of being distracting there.
yeah.
Like, what have you?
Yeah, so I think the benefit when Casey and I go down when we're
I mean,
ready,
you must have a bunch of repeat customers too
we
at this
do
point too.
and I feel like we own the locals. Like locals love us.
yeah,
That's
well, they
why
do.
we're
It's
open.
obvious.
We're open 363 days a year. Nobody else does
Yeah.
those hours. We always have people in for birthday, anniversary. They're going on a trip. We're really fortunate to have the locals behind us. But when Casey and I are meeting with a sales rep and they show us a jacket, I might say, okay, Nate Lowry's going to buy that jacket. Or a 48-year-old attorney from Chicago with his Range Rover is going to buy that. He's going to love that color combo. We can name by name who we think will buy it. Where if I was opening a store in Traverse City, I don't know the customer
Yeah.
base. I would assume it's similar customers, but maybe they have a younger demographic. Maybe it's 25 to 35-year-olds that shop that particular block. So we know our customer really well, and we pay attention, and we have conversations with them, and we really pay attention to, one, what they're asking for, and two, what they're wearing. If 5 people come in and they wear a Cotopaxi jacket on a Saturday, if we see 5 people wearing that jacket and we don't sell that brand, we might say, something's going
Yeah.
on here. Maybe we should look at that. And then if the next week 5 people say, hey, do you sell Cotopaxi? Then we should really have a
Yeah.
conversation. And the conversation starts with when we reach out to either the manufacturer or the sales rep is, are you selling to somebody in Saugatuck? And if they aren't, then we get the ball rolling.
Huh. Why wouldn't you?
I have to give you a couple crazy customer interactions. One, we used to have this book that we kept behind the counter, and we had two of them, and it said, when I work, because we used to handwrite our time cards.
Oh.
And the other one was what they said. And anytime we had a bad interaction with a customer or they said something completely crazy, we'd do it in what they said. I still have the books. They're phenomenal. But two of them,
Where?
They're around. They're either at my house or down here. I'll try to find
Have
them.
you ever thought
I
about
should put them on
printing
Instagram. So
What did they say?
What they said. There was a guy that came in and he wanted mirrored sunglasses. We sold inexpensive glasses. And he said, no, I need the mirror on the inside. And we're like, mirror on the inside? Then you're looking at your eyeball. Like,
Yeah.
if you're looking in a mirror, he said, no. Have you ever heard of mistaken identity? I had mirrored on the inside before, and I saw this guy coming up with a gun. and he was going to shoot me, and I turned around and I knocked him out, and he thought I was sleeping with his wife, but it was the wrong guy, and he went into this elaborate story.
Mistaken
Mistaken identity or whatever. Bizarre, like walked
So he
out.
wanted to be able to see behind
He
him.
wanted to be able to see behind him. 2021, May, first week of May.
Oh, this is just recent.
Yeah, should I tell? This
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
This is like potty
Don't
humor.
use names.
Do you know
Yeah.
the fitting room story?
No.
This is
I would love to.
everybody loves this story.
Should have started with this.
We have this great employee, Javi. He's a school psychologist. He was just finishing his master's. He's a school psychologist in Chicago. So he has the summers off and he just loves it here. He's worked for us forever. He's great. First day back, I'm downstairs in the office. He has been at work for less than an hour and he runs down the stairs. Thump, thump, thump. Hey! And I'm like, what's up, Javi? Somebody shit in the fitting room. I was like, all right, I'll take care of it. Because people have had sex in the fitting rooms. People change diapers in there. Oh, they'll run in. They'll be like, I need to change my baby's diaper, whatever. So I'm like, okay, so somebody changed their diaper.
Often? Is there a lot of sex?
Not often. There's been a handful of sex. There's people come in and point in the store like, this baby was conceived in that fitting room. We're like, that's great. That happened a lot more back in the day before there were cameras and phones and police and whatever. And when town wasn't as busy. So that's a different story. But anyway, I just said, I'll take care of it, Javi. Like, what do you mean? He goes, no. F-U-C-K, and somebody shit in the fitting room. And he goes, and if I have to clean it up, I quit. And he hadn't even been there for an hour. I'm like, it's fine. So I walk up and I open the fitting room door, and I don't know how this is humanly possible, but there was explosive diarrhea on all four corners of the mirror and the floor.
All four? Wait, whoa.
The entire
mirror goes up high, right?
Yeah, so the lower, like from 18 inches to the floor in a completely everywhere, bad, really bad. And I look at Javi and I said, you look at the video camera and call Casey and tell her to get me a steam cleaner. And I was so fortunate that it was 2021 because Wally's gave me all these cleaners, this stuff that would like paint thinner, like the most germ killing. So I double mask. We were still wearing masks at that point. I put a bunch of gloves. I got everything I could think of.
Power
And
washer.
This is such a disgusting story. But anyway, I just kept saying to myself, chocolate ice cream, because I was trying so hard not to vomit in my mask. And it was so bad. So I'm just getting started. Cleaning up, right? And he's like, I got it. I can't believe it was her. So I'm like, play the tape. And we have cameras everywhere except in the fitting room. There was a woman trying on shoes, beautiful, like 30. She was wearing a dress. She tries on these On Clouds. She puts them on the counter like she wants to buy them. And then she scurries to the clothing side. And you can see this primal look of fear on her face. And she kind of rushes into the fitting room. Doesn't even shut the door the whole way. The light may have, I don't remember if the light came on or not because it's a moot point. She's in there for like 40 seconds. She walks out and she wipes her hand on the carpet. And she walks back. She pays for the shoes and walks out. So she ran in that fitting room because she may have thought it was a fitting room or a closet or a bathroom, and explosive diarrhea all over. It just exploded everywhere. And she was very well dressed in a really nice dress, beautiful woman, 30-ish. And she marched out. She never called and said, hey, I was just in. I want you to know. Javi could smell it and he found it. And I spent a lot of time cleaning in that. Oh my God, it was so traumatic. I can't believe that actually happened. That was really bad. And then number 3, third interaction, when we were selling Crocs, we sold these things called gibbets. It was the biggest entrepreneurial success ever. So Crocs had these little holes in them.
Yeah.
And this unemployed mother came up with these decorations that you could snap into the holes.
Yeah.
They were characters. She had licenses with Disney, football players. She did the alphabet so you could put your names. You could customize your Crocs with these little things that snapped in. And we had just like tackle boxes full of everything
It's
you
like
could imagine.
01, 02
gibbets.
like that?
Just tons of gibbets. And this little boy was in there, and his dad's like, "You get any gibbet you want." And he had to be 6 or 7. He looked like a nice boy. Well, he's like, "I want that football, and I want that kitty." And we're like, "Oh, what a cute kid." And then he's like, "Can you put him in for me?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then I was like, "I want the kitty there." And then so I put the kitty in. And he's like, "I want the football right above the kitty." I'm like, "That's cool. Do you like football?" He's like, "Yeah, like that football's coming and smacking, and it's going to kill that kitty. It's going to hit it right in the head. It's going to kill it." And he got super animated, excited. He's like, yeah. Like, as I was snapping it was the most uncomfortable thing anyway. Like, uncomfortable. He was picturing the cat getting murdered by the football, and he was so excited. He was like screaming when I snapped that in there. I don't know where that 6-year-old boy is now, but you might want to catch him on Dateline. But those are the 3.
Yikes.
The mistaken identity, dude who wanted to make sure nobody's going to shoot him from behind, the explosive diarrhea, and that little boy that's like, "Yeah, it's killing the cat. It's going to hit him. It's going to hit him in the head." So there's been some, I mean, I could probably give you 100 examples, but those 3 stand out as moments that I was outside of my body, like watching and listening, and couldn't believe I was hearing what I was hearing.
I guess there was a guy that came into Radio Shack, and he walked right up to the counter. They kind of had this island set up, and he's like, "I need a special order part." And I said, "You do?" "Yes, I do." And I said, "Okay, well, I would be happy to help you." And there was nobody else in the store. And normally, like,
Spy cam.
he wanted a flux capacitor for his time machine.
Okay.
And once he said that, I was like, oh, I'm bored.
Yeah.
And I'm a high school kid.
Yeah. Tell me more. Tell me more. I'm all in.
Let's go look for it,
Do you need
man.
help?
Yeah. And we must have spent 15 or 20 minutes, 30 minutes looking through, like, what about this? What about that? And eventually, like, I spent so much time with him looking for his crazy ass flux capacitor. He was like, "I don't know if they exist. I better get out of here." And I still wonder if it was like a prank.
Yeah.
If he was like
the bacon stretcher.
Yeah.
That's what the restaurants do here. Or they
What?
used to. So whenever a dishwasher would start, they'd be like, "Hey, go down to," so the Wallace people would send people to the butler. They're like, "We need the bacon stretcher." So they go to the bacon stretcher. And then the guys at the butler would be like, "Oh, we lent it to Checkers." And they'd go to Checkers and they'd go, "Oh, it's at Coral Gables." And then the Coral Gables people would send it to Billy's Boathouse or whatever it was at that time. So the kid would spend his whole first shift looking for the bacon stretcher just to write a passage. Like, if he comes back and he's like, "I can't get, if I don't have it," if he doesn't quit, then I think they're like, "Okay, you're our dishwasher. You're our guy." But
if he didn't back out.
yeah, if he did back out, if he's
Yeah.
like, "I went to 20 places, there's no bacon stretcher." So.
What if he like came back with like this rubber
He's
band
like, yeah,
apparatus? Like
that guy, he's like, "I think this will work." Yeah, I think then he's promoted to a bartender or he's a manager. But yeah, the bacon stretcher. So.
yeah.
But pranks are funny. I guess that is disappointing. That's probably a lost art. We should do what we can
You gotta
to bring
pick
that
it up.
back. Yeah.
You gotta pick it up.
You have to know your crowd, and you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings
Yeah.
or upset them. But
Yeah.
you know, if you can laugh with them ever, it can be a great bonding moment. I'm sure.
If you really, really, really do a prank correctly.
Yeah.
If there was an art to pranking,
Yes.
I think what it would feel a lot like waking up from a bad dream.
Yeah.
I think a really
the
good
relief. You're like, "Oh my God, you got me." But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so glad this isn't
Yes,
real.
yes.
Like that's the
Yes,
prank.
Yeah.
That's oh yeah. We gotta think of some good pranks.
Yeah.
All right.
Especially in the off season. The summer, it's too busy to do it. But to keep everybody's sanity around here,
Yeah.
Please do that. Find a good prank on the next Spencer Covey show.
Yeah.
and
I gotta find a good prankster.
Yeah. But the bacon stretcher is a good one. And
That's
it
a
didn't come
really
from
good
here,
one.
So yeah.
Well, what do you think? Should we sign off?
Let's sign off. This was fun.
Yeah,
Take
thanks.
2. So
Thanks for
yeah,
joining.
thanks for having me on the Spencer Covey show. And I loved your book about the highly effective people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so congrats on all
Yeah,
the
thank
success.
you. Well,
The
I
7
wrote it under a
habits,
pen name.
The 7 habits.
I wrote it
of-
under a
yeah.
pen name, but
Well,
you
just
know.
yeah, was that Stephen Covey, right? Instead of Spencer Covey.
it sounds the same.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Thank you.
See you guys.
Peace.
Oh, that's a good one.